In this podcast episode, the hosts and guest Adam Carolla delve into a variety of topics, from the decline of legacy media to the implications of celebrity endorsements in politics. Carolla opens the conversation by addressing the waning influence of legacy media in the United States. He argues that traditional news outlets like CNN, ABC, and CBS have lost their credibility and relevance, particularly in the face of rising alternative media platforms. He suggests that the public is increasingly skeptical of mainstream narratives, leading to a growing distrust of established media institutions. This skepticism, he posits, is a direct result of the media's failure to provide balanced reporting and its tendency to engage in sensationalism. Moreover, Carolla highlights the role of celebrity endorsements in politics, asserting that they have become ineffective. He notes that when celebrities like Beyoncé or other high-profile figures endorse a candidate, it no longer guarantees success. Instead, it often backfires, as the public becomes wary of the motives behind such endorsements. Continuing on the theme of celebrity influence, Carolla discusses how celebrity endorsements have lost their power in contemporary politics. He reflects on a time when a celebrity's endorsement could sway public opinion significantly, but now, it seems to have the opposite effect. He argues that the public is increasingly aware of the disconnect between celebrity lifestyles and the realities faced by ordinary citizens. This awareness has led to a growing disillusionment with celebrity culture, particularly when celebrities engage in political discourse. Carolla also emphasizes that the public's growing skepticism towards celebrity endorsements is indicative of a larger cultural shift. People are beginning to prioritize authenticity and genuine connection over the glitz and glamour associated with celebrity endorsements. This change suggests that voters are more interested in candidates who resonate with their lived experiences rather than those who are simply backed by famous figures. As a result, the political landscape is evolving, and candidates may need to rethink their strategies to connect with voters on a more personal level. The discussion then shifts to the concept of race hustlers, a term Carolla uses to describe individuals who exploit racial tensions for personal gain. He argues that figures like Al Sharpton, as well as politicians like Biden and Obama, engage in this behavior by perpetuating narratives that divide rather than unite. He contends that these individuals benefit from maintaining a climate of racial agitation, which ultimately undermines genuine progress toward racial equality. Carolla's critique extends to the broader implications of race hustling in American politics. He suggests that this phenomenon not only harms the communities it purports to help, but also stifles meaningful dialogue about race relations. By focusing on divisive rhetoric, race hustlers distract from the real issues that need to be addressed, such as economic inequality and access to education. Carolla calls for a reevaluation of how race is discussed in political discourse, advocating for a more constructive approach that fosters understanding and collaboration. As the conversation progresses, Carolla delves into the role of political agitation in shaping public perception. He argues that the media and political figures often engage in sensationalism to provoke outrage and maintain viewer engagement. This tactic, he claims, has led to a culture of hyperbole, where rational discourse is overshadowed by emotional reactions. Carolla believes that this environment is detrimental to democracy, as it discourages thoughtful debate and critical thinking. Carolla also points out that the constant barrage of sensational news can desensitize the public, making it difficult for individuals to discern what is genuinely important. He emphasizes the need for a return to substantive discussions about policy and governance, rather than focusing on sensational stories that serve to distract and divide. By fostering a culture of informed dialogue, Carolla argues that society can move toward more effective solutions to the challenges it faces. The episode also touches on the recent election coverage, with Carolla expressing his observations about the media's handling of the events. He notes that while some outlets attempted to provide balanced coverage, others resorted to sensationalism and hyperbole. He argues that this inconsistency in reporting undermines the public's trust in the media and contributes to the polarization of political discourse. Carolla's critique extends to the way the media frames political narratives, often focusing on sensational stories rather than substantive issues. He believes that this approach not only misleads the public, but also perpetuates a cycle of outrage and division. By prioritizing sensationalism over responsible journalism, the media risks alienating audiences and further eroding its credibility. Carolla then shifts the focus to the nature of political discourse in America, highlighting the increasing tendency to label opponents as racist or fascist. He argues that this hyperbolic language diminishes the quality of political debate and stifles meaningful conversation. He believes that resorting to such labels is a sign of weakness, as it indicates a lack of substantive arguments to support one's position. Furthermore, Carolla emphasizes the importance of engaging in respectful dialogue, even with those who hold opposing views. He argues that constructive conversations can lead to greater understanding and collaboration, ultimately benefiting society as a whole. By fostering an environment where differing opinions can be expressed without fear of retribution, Carolla believes that political discourse can become more productive and inclusive. The discussion also touches on the challenges of political identity, particularly in relation to race and ethnicity. Carolla argues that the expectation for individuals to vote along racial or ethnic lines is inherently racist. He believes that people should be free to make political choices based on their values and beliefs, rather than being pigeonholed into specific categories. This perspective challenges the notion that race should dictate political allegiance, advocating for a more nuanced understanding of individual identity. Carolla's critique extends to the way political parties often exploit identity politics to garner support. He argues that this approach not only undermines the complexity of individual experiences, but also perpetuates division within society. By focusing on identity as a primary factor in political affiliation, parties risk alienating those who do not fit neatly into predefined categories. Carolla calls for a more inclusive approach that recognizes the diversity of thought within communities. As the conversation progresses, Carolla reflects on the future of American politics, particularly in light of recent electoral outcomes. He expresses cautious optimism, suggesting that the political landscape may be shifting toward a more pragmatic approach. He believes that voters are increasingly seeking candidates who prioritize effective governance over ideological purity, signaling a potential departure from the extremes of both parties. Carolla also emphasizes the importance of accountability in politics, urging voters to hold elected officials responsible for their actions. He argues that a more engaged electorate can lead to positive change, as individuals demand better representation and governance. By fostering a culture of accountability, Carolla believes that American politics can move toward a more constructive and effective future. The episode also highlights the importance of personal responsibility in addressing societal challenges. Carolla argues that individuals must take ownership of their actions and decisions, rather than relying solely on government intervention. He believes that fostering a sense of personal responsibility can lead to greater empowerment and resilience within communities. Carolla's perspective emphasizes the need for individuals to engage in meaningful activities that contribute to their well-being and the well-being of others. He advocates for a return to basic tasks and responsibilities, such as cooking, cleaning, and engaging in physical activities. By embracing these responsibilities, individuals can cultivate a sense of purpose and fulfillment, ultimately benefiting both themselves and their communities. Towards the end of the episode, Carolla discusses the importance of mental health, particularly in relation to physical activity and engagement. He argues that many individuals struggle with mental health issues due to a lack of meaningful engagement in their lives. Carolla believes that participating in physical activities and taking on responsibilities can significantly improve mental well-being. Carolla emphasizes that mental health should not solely be addressed through medication or therapy, but should also involve active participation in life. He encourages individuals to engage in tasks that promote a sense of accomplishment and fulfillment, such as exercising, volunteering, or pursuing hobbies. By fostering a holistic approach to mental health, Carolla believes that individuals can achieve greater well-being and resilience.